What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? This is your boy Is Nefarious, and I'm here for another edition following the career of GM Neff and NHL 25. And if you're enjoying the content, please like, comment, and subscribe so you can help the channel grow. But without further ado, let's jump into this episode and see what we're doing today. All right, picking up where we last left off, we are here in December 1st. We simmed 2 months in our Boston Bruins franchise. We are sitting here at 17-4-2, and I said we would do the player efficiency ratings and all that, and we've made some changes. As you can see, we have the top 5 there. The numbers are a little smaller, so our top 5 in player efficiency rating, you got David Pastrnak at 58.87, you got Lindholm at 57.69, you got Marat Kusnadinov at 52.37, you got Dean Letourneau at 46.91. You got Nikolai Ehlers, the newcomer, at 46.87. So already making a statement as a Boston Bruin. So that's good to see. Taking a look at the owner goals so far, we are 1 for 2. We already upgraded our team store by 1 level, and then we also hit our stretch goal about upgrading our parking lot by 1 level as well. So we still got to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals for our primary, and our secondary we got to beat our team rival in our first regular season meeting, the Montreal Canadiens. So when do we actually play Montreal? Let's take a look at the schedule real quick before I jump into some of the advanced stats that I have. So we play Montreal actually not even in this month, which is interesting. It looks like we don't play Montreal until the 15th of January for the first time. So Montreal, January 15th is when we will be playing them. So now I want to take a look at the advanced stats. So let me pick that up and show you what we got going on there. All right, so here's the advanced stats. And as you can see, we got David Pastrnak leading the way. This is with the player efficiency rating as the number 1 from highest to lowest. You can see he's number 1. Our worst right now is Thomas, Hunt, and Yankruk. Yankruk's the only one that really plays, so we got to keep an eye on that. Our best offensive guy so far this season has been David Pastrnak with an 87.59. Then you got Lindholm at 70.54. You got Kusnadinov at a 63.48. You got Edstrom of all people at a 63.21. Taking a look at Nikolai Ehlers, he's just under 60. Zaka's there as well, and Patras as well. Our worst offensive output is coming from Jensen and Vilchinski, our 2 defensemen. Besides Thomas has only played a couple of games, so we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But our defensemen, definitely not a lot of offensive input there. Take a look at the best defensive inputs that we have so far this season. You could see Jacob Middleton leading the way with a 45.93. You got Vilchinski with a 44.97. Lindholm with a 44.83. He's been really good as a two-way center. Dean Letourneau with a 42.96, and Kusnadinov with a 41.25. And as you could see, this is kind of how we get to that number. We got our goals per 60 minutes. David Pastrnak's got 1.63 goals per 60 minutes. Taking a look at the assists per 60 minutes, David Pastrnak again up there with 2.55 assists per 60. Actually, no, that was Lindholm that has a 2.55 assists per 60. And then you have David Pastrnak with a 2.28 per 60, and Charlie McAvoy also has got a 2.12 per 60. Taking a look at the points, it's obviously going to be David Pastrnak with a 391 per 60, Lindholm with a 336, and then we got everything else here. The plus minus per 60, penalty minutes per 60. You got shots per 60, hits per 60, block shots per 60, giveaways, takeaways, net takeaways. All per 60, and then we got some other stats like goals per game played and things like that. But these are the advanced stats that we were talking about, and that's kind of how we get to these numbers with some of the equations that we have here. And I could go into that in a different episode if you like. Just comment down below if you want me to really go into how I get to these numbers. But it's kind of my own little formula based on what I value in statistics. So but that's the advanced stats that we have. So let's jump back over to the game itself and let's talk about what we're doing today. So moving on from the advanced stats, we got other things to talk about. We got to talk about the performance of our coach so far. So the coach that we brought in last season, I forgot what his first name was. I think it's Jameson. Is it Jameson? No, Joshua Adamski. He was brought in last year to take over the team that was, kind of trying to get back into the playoffs after missing 1 year, and he did pretty well. Right now, his record is 60, 37, and 8, a 61 point percentage on, the points percentage. And even last year, we had a good record. It just, the Atlantic Division was on another level from top to bottom, and we missed out on the playoffs with 94 points, something like that. So it was really tough to miss out on playoffs, but it wasn't for the lack of effort. He came in, we had to build the chemistry, we also had to build the scheme. He is playing that defensive scheme which we want, and as you can see with the team stats, it's working out. We're 7th in goals for with 2.91. We're 8th in goals against with 2.22. We got a power play percentage of 16.2, which is 7th in the league, and we got a penalty kill percentage, which is 1st in the league. So talking about the power play percentage, that's one of our owner goals, our AI owner goals. But speaking about our owner goals, we got our NHL owner goals to kind of keep an eye on. Right now, we got to make it to the Stanley Cup, which obviously we won't know unless we make the playoffs later on and we go on a deep run. Our secondary goals is upgrade the team store by 1 level, which we already did, and we got to beat the Montreal Canadiens in our first regular season matchup, which we hopefully will when we play them January 15th. Take a look at the stretch goals. We already completed that. We upgraded the parking lot by 1 level. So we're doing well on those goals. When it comes to our AI owner goals, we're going to improve that locker room chemistry to 90. Right now it's at 69. We get to establish a top 10 power play unit. As we just talked about, they were already 7th overall, so hopefully we could maintain that. The coach can. We got to enhance the arena level happiness of the fans up to 90. It's at a 65. And then we got to develop young players, which means call up 2 other young players. So speaking about our young players, our AHL team is also 13-3-2 and performing really, really well. So let's talk about some of their stuff when it comes to stats. You got Merkulov leading the way, and you got Dennis Sanko and Brett Harrison up there. But the question is, who would we call up? And honestly, at this point, I can't think of a single person we would call up. Maybe somebody, maybe at some point we call up Frederick Brunet. Maybe Sasha is another guy that we could call up, Sasha Bumadini. He's also a option if we want to move on from a defenseman. It could be him, but right now, based on the way the team's performing, there's really no reason to call anybody up. I mean, you could look at the goalies. Maybe Skarek gets called up, or Bussy. We also got Marcus Markov, which I don't even remember signing Marcus Markov. But the NHL, we're fine. A 9.25 from our backup, and he's 11-1-1. And then even our starter Jeremy Swayman 5-3. He's got a 9.39 and a 1.82, and our backup has more wins, and I think that has to do with some of the injuries that we had to deal with. But we're performing well. Now it's time to jump into the sim, and what I'm gonna do is actually go through the sim, pick it up whenever we have injuries or we have any team changes, and then pick it up at the end of the sim and see where we're at then. All right, after the month of December, we're here in January 1st, and right now we've had a bad month in a sense, not terrible. We lost 5 games, we won 8. We won 9, we lost 5 in regulation, so we went 9-5, not the worst. Taking a look at the top player efficiency ratings, you got Kuznetsov at the number 1 with 55.51, Pasternak number 2 with 54.51, Lindholm 50.26, Letourneau 49.99, and Maverick Bork with a 45.93. So not going to go into the spreadsheet once again, we'll just do the top there, but not a bad month. 5th, we're now 5th in goals for per game, so we actually went up, I believe. I think we were 7th before, now we're 5th, so we're up there. We're 12th in goals against per game, which is down from where we were. We were at 2.22, now we're at 2.35. We're fifth in power play percentage, so that's huge, and we're second in penalty kill. So doing well so far there. And talking about some of the stats, let's pull up our player stats real quick just to see where they're at without going into the advanced stats. Pasternak's leading the team with 37 points in 33 games. You got Lindholm with 37 and 37 as well. You got Nikolai Ehlers with 30 and 37. Charlie McAvoy with 30 and 37 as well. So the defense getting involved. Kuznetsov, who is our best player right now, has 21 and 37 games. Now, they have him rated as the best. That's probably because he's getting limited minutes and putting up a good amount of points. As you can see, he only has 14 minutes of time on ice, 537 total minutes. And not only is he doing well in offensively, but defensively as well. He has 69 hits so far, 15 block shots. He's only given the puck away 16 times and taken it away 24 times. So he is playing really, really well. He has a fight to boot as well. Taking a look at some of his abilities, he has third eye, itch tricky, ankle breaker, shut down, and shrug it off. He has some pretty good abilities, and right now the team's not doing bad, so there's really no reason to change anything within ourselves. Taking a look at the goalies, I forgot to show the goalies, and then we're going to take a look around the league. So taking a look at the goalies, you got Riddick, who's 16-1-1. He is absolutely playing out of his mind. He's actually playing better than Swayman is right now. Swayman's 9-8, 2 shutouts with a 9.20 and a 2.49. Riddick's, like I said, 16-1-1, 3 shutouts, 9.30 and a 1.92. He is playing light out as the backup goalie and kind of taking over as the starter based on the share there. Taking a look at the rookie skaters right now, Fraser Mitten's got 37 games played, 14 points, and he's not that far off on player efficiency rating. He's actually in our top 10. After Maverick Bourque, you got Nikolai Ehlers, and then you got Fraser Mitten right behind him. You got Dean Letourneau, who is in our top 5, doing offense and defense, doing everything really, really well right now. He's got 13 points in 37 games with his limited minutes. He does have a lot of penalty minutes though with 42, so we got to keep an eye on that. Taking a look at the giveaways and takeaways, he's got a 54% face-off percentage, so that's huge. 56 hits. He's got 4 block shots, 20 giveaways, and 16 takeaways. You definitely want to see that number better. Vilchinski playing really, really bad right now. His player efficiency rating is actually in the bottom half when it comes to, the guys that have played often. I think he's actually number 5 exactly if they've played more than 30 games. So he is not performing well, and that's going for a lot of our defensemen. Yoki Haru also not performing well. Hampus Lindholm's not performing well, and Nick Jensen's not performing well. The only defenseman right now that's performing really, really well is Charlie McAvoy. Middleton's in the middle of the pack, which is not bad, but definitely we need more out of the rookie Vilchinski. Definitely need him to step up his game and be a little bit better for us. And that's just not offensively. That's talking about defensively too, because his efficiency rating defensively isn't actually, it's actually pretty good. The offense is really dragging him down. I thought it was actually pretty bad, but he's got a 40.95, which is number 1 for defensemen. It looks like he's number 1 for defensemen. Letourneau and Kuznetsov both are higher. They're 1 and 2, and he's actually number 3 when it comes to defensive ratings. So he's actually performing really, really well defensively. I take a little bit of that back. Taking a look around the league, you got Austin Matthews leading the league with 40 points in 36 games. You got Robertson with 37 in 35. You got David Pastrnak 37 and 33. Obviously missing a few games. Elias Lindholm right behind him with 37 points as well. So he's playing that number 1 seed role really, really well. You got William Nylander, who's got 35 and 36. Ranton's got 35 and 35. Forsberg with 34 and 34. You got Hintz with 32 and 32. And then you got Riley Leonard, of all people, with 32 and 36. So you got some guys performing around the league. And when we get to the trade deadline and we really talk about who we might bring onto this team, we're gonna break down the player efficiency rating of the entire league. We'll have a whole spreadsheet for it because it makes it easy with AI to kind of import it. Even though you don't have a CSV would be even better, and it would be a lot more efficient for me. But as long as I could send screenshots to the AI and AI kind of give it to me, it works out pretty well. So not a bad month on the NHL side. Let's take a look at the AHL side. What's going on with Providence? And Providence is on fire. 25-4 so far this season, and that actually puts them, where does that put them in the division? That puts them number 2, right behind the Penguins, who are 23-6-2. So they played a couple more games, they got a few more points. Not too mad at that. Taking a look at the stats for our leaders right now. Merkulov leading the team with 22 points in 29 games. You got Poulin with 20 and 29, Denisenko with 20 and 29, Rolston also has 17. Taking a look at the defensemen, you got 13 points in 28 games for Sasha Bumadini, who is actually a offensive defenseman, so he's supposed to be getting points. Not a lot. He does have 5 goals, which I think is on the high side for a defenseman right now in this league, and in that amount of games, 5 goals is pretty good. Taking a look at the goalies, you got Skarek, who's got a 9.23 and a 184. You got a 9.33 and a 173 from Bussy, and you got an 8.95 and a 3.05 from Marcus Markov. So that's what's going on in the AHL. I did want to take a look at the entire league on the NHL side. We forgot to go over some of the goalies and some of the rookies. So taking a look at the rookie, not so much the rookie goalies, the rookie skaters. You got Adam Bennick, who is leading the league right now for all rookies. He's got 36 games played, 21 points. You got Lambert behind him, Brad Lambert with 18 and 38. You got Caven with 16 and 32. You got O'Reilly with 15 and 34. You got Cole McKinney with 14 and 36. Bieksa with 14 and 35, and Mitten right there with 14 and 37. So he's up there. Michael Misa from 2 drafts ago, he's finally in the NHL at 20 years old. He's got 13 points so far on the season. So a couple of rookies playing really, really well. Taking a look at the goalies real quick. You got Ottinger, who's got 22 wins so far this season. Going with a minimum amount of games played, will probably go 15. We went past 15, so let's go back. We'll go to 10. You can't go to 15, so we'll go to 10. We'll go to 10 games played. Take a look at some of the leaders there with 10 games played. You got Aiden Hill, who seems to be split in time where he's at. He's got a 951 save percentage and a 130 goals against. You got Devin Levi with a 943 and a 168. You got Hugo Alnfelt, who's got a 942 and a 176. You got Lindgren, who's got a 932 and a 192. A 932 and a 192. You got Justice Noonan, who's got a 931 and 185. Remember, we got everything on low because it's keeping control of the over progressive or over progressing. Not progressive, but progressing forward to kind of hiking overall. Stuart Skinner's got a 930 to 193, and then you got Thatcher Demko with a 929 and a 200, and Dossel right there with a 929 and a 220. As you can see, Riddick with 18 games played, 930 to 192 is good for top 10 in the league right now, playing really, really well. So let's jump into the next sim. Hopefully we continue this run that we're on, but I'll pick it up on the other side. Just to pick it up in the middle of the sim, so we played our first game against the Montreal Canadiens and we come out with a loss. As you can see, we failed the goal to beat our rivals in the Montreal Canadiens, so that sucks. But let's get back to the sim and we'll pick it up when we're done. So far for injuries, we got Enstrom going down for a pulled groin. He'll be out till February 1st. I don't know exactly where we are. We're 19th of January, so we got a little bit of time, and good thing I came tuned back in. We're getting offered a trade 2/3 for Warner, a 1/3 and a 5th. We're gonna decline that. That's definitely not a trade we want. there's really no need for us to, trade Warner for that. And we could see what we could get at the trade deadline, because we do have a little bit of cap space to work with and things like that. So we'll see what's on the trade block at the deadline, and maybe we could get a big fish to kind of help out this team. But we're definitely going to decline this one. All right, coming to the end of the month, we got a conversation with Pavel Zacha. I think this might have been from us trying to request a position change. So he didn't feel right in making center his primary position. That's basically what the conversation was. So unfortunately, he doesn't become a primary center, but it ain't no big deal. And we are just 1 day away from finishing this month. So we're gonna head into sim to the first of the month. And at the end of this sim, we are 34, 14, and 3. We are 5, 4, and 1 in our last 10. So definitely not as good as we been recently. Taking a look, we are 4th in goals for per game. We are 11th in goals against per game. We are 5th in power play percentage with a 16.9. We're going up against the first power play percentage with the Toronto Maple Leafs. We are 2nd in penalty kill with a 93.3, and we got to do the advanced stats and things like that. So let me go ahead and do advanced stats, and then I'll pick it back up. So with the player efficiency ratings updated, right now Kuznetsov is still our best player with a 54.46. You got Pasta right behind him with a 50.56. You got Enstrom, of all people, with a 46.23, Maverick Bork with a 46.17, and Elias Lindholm with a 45.53. And we're not seeing any defensemen, we're seeing mostly forwards. And let's take a deeper look at the numbers and see why that might be right now. All right, taking a look at what's going on right here. So as I said, right now we're sorted by the player efficiency rating. You got Kuznetsov leading the team. Offensively, our best offensive player has by far been David Pastrnak, but Enstrom, right, is right behind him at a 67.81. You got Kuznetsov at a 64.06. You got Lindholm at a 61.52, and you get Patras at a 61.3. Palmieri's got a 61.15. Taking a look at the defense, as you can see, Pasta's really hurting us, and also Palmieri's only got a 1.34. So taking a look at the defense, our top defenseman right now for the defensive efficiency rating is Vilchinski with a 49.66. You got Kuznetsov with a 44.85. You got Letourneau with a 40.04, and you got Middleton with a 39.8, and then Jensen right behind him. So why are the defensemen having a tough time cracking the top 5? As you can see, the offensive rating right now, we're going to do this. We're going to filter the column. I'm going to take away all the forwards, clear all, and just leave the defensemen up. And we're going to take a look at the defensemen specifically. I don't know why we can't select multiple right now. So, okay, we can only select one at a time, I guess. Without doing that, we'll do this. Oh no, we just messed up the chart. Do this. So we'll sort column by Z to A. So you got your right defenseman. You got a 28 point. You got an 18.62 on offense. Charlie McAvoy's our highest rated offensive player. When it comes to defenseman, with a 45.06. You got Yoki-Haru with a 19.69. Hunt's got a 19.93, but he's only played 7 games. You got Vilchinski with an 18.83. Obviously not a offensive guy. You got Middleton with a 20.92. You got Lindholm with a 28.87. Then Lindholm also got a 10.44 defensive efficiency rating for a 19.66. So if we take a look at the AHL and after this and kind of do their breakdown in Bomedini is performing really well. Lindholm might be out the door, because this is gross from Lindholm. Obviously the goals per 60 is not there, the assists, the points per 60's not there, almost at a 1. But what is leading to these bad numbers for these defensemen? And honestly, when you go look at, maybe it's the way our scheme is, But you take a look at the giveaways per 60, you're going to sort Z to A, so we get the highest. Ian Crook's got the most giveaways per 60 with a 4.68, but then you're going to see a run of defensemen here. You got Vilchinski, you got Jensen, you got Middleton, you got Hunt, you got Yoki Haru. Lindholm is actually not that bad with giveaways per 60 with only a looks like a 1.62 per 60. He's actually the best defenseman we have when it comes to giveaways. Charlie McAvoy has a 1.98 on the giveaways per 60. And then when it comes to the takeaways, taking a look at that, this kind of not messes with the numbers, but kind of hurts the defenseman, because you look at the takeaways and they're all at the bottom, the defenseman. Charlie McAvoy's only averaging 0.61. You got Lindholm with a 0.84. You got Yoki Haru with a 0.92. You got a 0.96 from Vilchinski, a 0.98 from Middleton. The only defenseman over 1 right now, it looks like, is Jensen. You also, Hunt has 1, but he's only played like 7 games, so we're not going to count that. The only defenseman that's been playing enough amount of games to really qualify is Jensen, that's over 1. So that kind of tells you where, you know, the defense is when it comes to breaking out the puck, controlling the puck, and things like that. Our best net takeaway right now, or who's leading the team, is Elias Lindholm. He's got 2.18 takeaways per giveaway when it comes to 60 minutes of playtime. He's probably not on the list for the best defensive efficiency ratings, probably because the hits per 9 is pretty low. It looks like he might even be one of the bottom. Yeah, he's in the bottom 5. No, bottom 6. He's number 6 exactly. If you take out Thomas, who doesn't really qualify, then he's bottom 5 when it comes to hits per 60. Taking a look at the block shots per 60. We're not going to show that again. Block shots per 60, when it comes to people that qualify, Lindholm again is in the top 5. He's number 5. So you know, he's not getting enough hits and blocks to really qualify when it comes to, you know, the defensive efficiency rating. Even though his takeaways and his giveaways and his net is really good, he's just not getting the blocks and the hits. And I think the hits is really what's driving us. And like I said, we could break down on how we get these efficiency ratings, and you can kind of tell by some of the per 60s that we have here, and you know, who has good defensive ratings compared to who doesn't. You know, maybe Dean Letourneau is up there just because he has a lot of hits. As you can see, 7.17. Edstrom's also got 7.8. So you know, these guys that are throwing their body are going to get a little more love when it comes to the defensive efficiency rating. So maybe that's something we change, because right now we got to, at whatever the hits are times 5, maybe we change that to, you know, 3 or something like that, because we got the hits at 3 right now. The block shots we got at times 5, the hits we got at times 3. As you can see, you know, some of these guys that do throw a lot of hits are up there for defensive efficiency rating, and you know, hits are part of the defense. But taking a look at the goals per 60 to see who's leading the team, you got Kuznetsov leading the team with goals per 60 at a 1.38. You know, he might be playing himself into a better role. Fraser Minten is definitely not doing what he needs to on that second line. As you can see here, he's only got a 0.8. Take a look at the assists per 60, and now this is obviously another thing to look at when you're trying to make the decision. You got Lindholm, who's got a 2.07, so he's playing really well. Pasternak with a 1.86. You got Charlie McAvoy, who's got a 1.6, and then where we got Fraser Minten right here. He's at number 8 overall at a 1.16. And he's above Kuznetsov. But take a look at the points per 60. That will really tell you where you are. You got Pasternak leading the team. Obviously, that's why, you know, that offensive efficiency ratings up there. But then you got Lindholm, Ehlers, and then it's Kuznetsov, followed by Patras, Enstrom, and Minten. So maybe if we move Kuznetsov to that second line, move Minten to that third line, maybe Kuznetsov starts to cook a little bit more and really, you know, earns, you know, more points and things like that. Because honestly, at this point, he's kind of playing his way into a larger role with the team. So I could talk to the coach about getting him more minutes and getting him to that second line left wing, which we'll probably do. Have him go to that second line, have Mitten go down to that third line. But this is the some of the advanced stats. We'll probably do the AHL 2 here soon, especially when we get to the trade deadline. We'll do the NHL, we'll do the AHL, we'll do the whole league as a whole when it comes to the NHL, just to see if there's sleepers out there that we could get to add to the team. Maybe trade away some of these bad contracts, some of these overly expensive contracts for guys that are kind of performing at the same rate. But we'll take a look at that when we're done. But right now, let's jump back into the main screen and let's take a look at the standings and see where we are there. So in the Atlantic Division, we are actually in first place with 71 points so far this season. We're up by 4 points on the next closest, which is the Maple Leafs, who have one game on us. We have one less game played, and we're leading the division with the 71 points. 34 wins, 14 losses, 3 overtime losses. As you can see, you got the regulation wins at 28. The regulation plus overtime wins at 28. So that... I don't know how that makes sense. Maybe I'm missing the point there. But we're leading the Atlantic Division. Are we leading the Eastern Conference? We are leading the Eastern Conference, as you can see there, with 71 points. And then taking a look at the entire league, are we the best team in the league? No, we are not. You got the Dallas Stars, who are ahead of us, and taking a look at what they have for lineup, you got a Robertson, Hintz, Rantanen, you got Marchman, Johnston, you got Kane, you got Coleman, Donato, Vrana, Costin, Bichelle, and Robbins. I mean, Kane's still playing. That's amazing to me. The defense, you got Harley and Heiskanen, you got Lindell and Marino, you got Mahora and Dumba, and then in net you got Jake Onger and Gorgiev. So you got a really good team there. They're still the cream of the crop when it comes to the best teams in the league. And we lost to the Montreal Canadiens, so we failed one of our own goals. We still got a chance to reach the Stanley Cup final, so that's still open. Taking a look at the AI owner goals right now, the power play percentage is top 10, and it's trending to to stay there. So I think we're going to be able to get another scout or upgrade one of our scouts. When it comes to the locker room chemistry and the fan arena happiness, taking a look at the arena happiness, the fan level is at 65 still, so that hasn't changed. Taking a look at the locker room chemistry, they're at 67, so that's not really changing. So maybe there's some things we could do to get that up. Obviously, upgrade and maintain to our facility. As you can see here, there's some stuff that we have to do. The parking lot needs to be repaired, so that needs to be done. You could see a lot of the stuff is actually going to be need to be repaired here, which I'll do off air, and we're not going to bore you with doing that right now. But performing really well as a team. Taking a look at the points leaders, our top 3 right now is Lindholm, Pastrnak, and McAvoy. McAvoy having a really good season for defensemen with 40 points so far in 51 games. Ehlers, the newcomer, has 39 points in 51 games. Taking a look at our rookies, like we talked about Mitten in his efficiency rating, he has 22 points in 51 games. Obviously, you want a little bit more out of a second line forward. Dean Letourneau, who is a third line forward, who's getting less minutes, has 15 in 51 games. Taking a look at the goalies, you got a 17-1-1 record for Riddick. He's still on top of his game. He's got a .930 save percentage of 193. I think he just played one game since the last time we looked. You got Swayman, who went 16-13-1. He's got 3 shutouts, a .919 and 244. So he is not playing up to his contract. And Bruins fans in real life will say, I could have told you that, but even in the sim, not really playing up to his contract right now. Ottinger's got a 37-3 with 6 shutouts. Taking a look at the save percentage, we're gonna obviously qualify people based on games played. We'll go above 10 now because I think there's gonna be a lot of goalies at 10. You got Aiden Hill, who's got 26 games played. He's still got a .951 and a 133. He's absolutely on fire. You got a .939 and a 171 from Levi. You got Jake Onger with a .934 and a 182. Sorokin with a .931 and a 224. And we have to go a long way before we see our goalie and Jeremy Swayman. Got to go pretty much halfway down to get to him. Take a look at the rookie skaters so far in this league. Lambert's leading the rookies with 27 points in 51 games. Burchild's got 23 and 44. You got Bieksa with 22 and 47. And Mitten's actually in the top 5 with 22 and 51. So he's on pace with the rest of the rookies getting top 6 minutes. You got Lindholm leading the entire league in points with 50 points in 51 games. You got Matthews behind him with 49 and 52, Pasternak with 49 and 47. You got Robertson at 47 and 50. Rantanen's got 46 and 50. You got Nylander with 45 and 52. You got Robert Thomas with 45 and 48. You got Connor McDavid starting to catch stride a little bit. He's got 44 and 52. And then taking a look at Jake Sanderson, who's got 43 and 51. So that puts him at the lead for the defenseman with points with 43 and 51. And Charlie McAvoy right behind him with the 40 points in 51 games. So Charlie McAvoy doing his thing this season. So definitely going to be fun to watch to see if he could, keep pace and, maybe even take the lead when it comes to the points for defensemen. So but that's going to do it for this one. We talked about the standings. I'm trying to think if we forgot something that we want to talk about. Oh, we forgot to talk to the coach. I was going to wrap it up. We forgot to tell the coach that we want to change Kuznetsov to that second line left wing. Preferred lines, we are going to do the forwards, and I want to change line 2. I want my left wing. We are going to go with Kuznetsov if it allows us. It does. So we're going to end that conversation. We're going to go with a new topic. Go with line 3. At left wing, I would like to put Fraser Mitten at that left wing. So that's going to end our conversation. So that's going to change up our lines. It's nice that he works with me. It makes it a lot easier, because if you get a good coach, he'll make your life miserable with trying to mess with his line. So Kuznetsov goes to line 2, deservingly so. 87 overall, performing really well so far. The best when it comes to player efficiency on our team. He's actually a good fit for this line too. Line 2, he's a full bar. You got full bar. You got Zacha, who's almost a full bar. And maybe we could actually get him there, and maybe Patras as well. So let's talk to Patras. He's okay this season, honestly. 29 points in 50 games, obviously better than Fraser Mitten. What's Bork so far? 23. So he's outperforming Bork in the efficiency rating. I think he's outperforming Bork in the efficiency. I want to go back and look. Yeah, he's outperforming Bork by a little bit, which is fine. Bork's got a little bit better defense, but in the top 6, we're looking more for offense. So I want to have this meeting with Patras. Let's see if we could get him to scheme fit a little bit better. What he says yes. So let's go ahead, line 2. Perfect. So he's gonna scheme fit line 2. And is that gonna give us a +5? It still has us at +4. Can we get a +5 by talking to Zacha? And if he's really willing to fit the scheme on line 2, we could get a +5 here. And he is. So let's go ahead and talk to him about scheme fit in line 2. He says game on. So right now we got a +5 to both the first line and the second line. So these guys are playing, a lot better hockey than, the overall says. And then line 3, you got the +2 right now. Maybe we could talk to some of these guys about fitting the scheme. Like Fraser Mitten, let's see if we could get him to fit the scheme while we're here. Scheme fit. Let's see what he says. He says no, so that's fine. You're real rude about it. What's his face-offs at? We could actually talk to him about learning how to play left wing. Let's see. Let's see if he's open to that. Perfect. Give you a long term. He could have did it in short term based on that adaptability. He's got really high adaptability, so I think we could get him to, do that in short term. Let's take a look at Letourneau, who's actually a full bar on line 3, so we don't have to mess with him. And then Bork, I think we already talked to him, and he said that he wants to play in a higher line before he scheme fits. Yeah, he doesn't want to scheme fit this time, but I think he wants to play in a higher line before he actually scheme fits somewhere. Paul Murray as well, he fits line 4, so that's perfect. So does Beecher. Thomas does not. You're only playing line 4, so let's see if we can get him to scheme fit. Yeah, you're not going anywhere higher than line 4. We gotta see, is Enstrom injured right now? I think he might be. Yeah, Enstrom's injured. He's also another one that we could talk about, you know, potentially moving up in lineup, who's obviously not getting a lot of minutes, but his efficiency rating offensively is a second best on the team with a 67.81. So I mean, he kind of deserves it, but honestly, where do we put him? There's really nowhere to put him. Everybody else above him is performing at a, you know, a good clip. You know, when it comes to Ehlers, he's got a 54.25, which is not crazy good, but you know, it's up there. He's not really underperforming at, you know, he's not under 50 like Fraser Mitten, so he's doing his thing. Anything else you want to change? Do we want to talk to the defense? Anybody we need to change? How about Lindholm? He's already scheme fits line 2. Jensen does not scheme fit line 2. Did we have Yoki Haru on line 2 previously? So let's see if we can get Jensen to scheme fit. Play nice. He does. Line 2. Perfect. Perfect. And before we tried to get him to scheme fit line 3, and he kept saying no because he thought he could get better minutes. And now he does, and he is a scheme fit, so that's perfect. Lindholm, obviously we got to think about what we're going to do with him in the future. He's not performing the best. Vilchinski's playing really well as that defensive defenseman. Could he play top 6? Maybe. Just don't know if we got the defense around him for him to play top 6. You need those puck moving defensemen. Charlie McAvoy would be a good one, but he's also with Middleton, who's also a defensive defenseman. So obviously some other things we could talk about and kind of move around. But with that being said, that's going to end this episode here. I hope you enjoyed the content. Like I said before, if you are enjoying it, please like, comment, and subscribe. But we are going to end it here, and everybody have a great one.